All right, so let's learn a little bit about the PHP syntax. It's going to be a little bit different than what we've been learning, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, because it's a server-side programming language and we haven't really been playing with that at all. So the difference between just a normal programming language like JavaScript or, say, a web language like HTML and CSS is that this is a server-side programming language and it speaks to the server directly rather than just to the browser. So what this does is when you code PHP, PHP is rendered by the server, and then the server spits back just plain HTML to the browser. So basically, you can use PHP directly in your HTML at any part of your document, top, bottom, inside, anywhere in the document you can use PHP because the browser is going to understand it as HTML, because the server is going to tell the browser what you programmed and give an HTML version. And this will make sense shortly. So go ahead and create a folder on your desktop here, PHP. And obviously you're going to want to download those course files folders at the beginning of this section because we're going to be referencing those and using that throughout the next couple sections for PHP. Go ahead and do that. And in your code editor, I have brackets opened up here. You'll notice I've changed the theme color of brackets to a darker theme. Some people like the light theme. Some people like the dark theme. I like both. But because we're going to be doing some programming, I kind of wanted to switch up the browser. I know a lot of programmers like coding with dark code editors. And in fact, I do too. But because we started out with brackets at the beginning, I just wanted to have it be the default theme. And now that we're kind of being a little bit more hardcore, I wanted the code editor to look a little bit more hardcore. So here we have an index.php. I created a file called index.php. So that's what you need to do first. You need to create your PHP file with a PHP extension. Unlike, HTML is .html, CSS is .css, JavaScript is .js, PHP is .php. Now, again, just create your basic HTML here. I got my doc type, HTML head, body, so on and so forth. But this isn't going to work because if I were to open this up, open up the file, it's not going to render at all. So here in my Finder here, I have PHP, index.php. If I were to click this, it would open it in a code editor because it's a script, as you can see down here. It's not a web page. This isn't going to open in the browser. And if I were to open this directly in the browser, it's not going to show anything. And it's just going to give me an error and say, it's just not going to work. That's why you need the server. You need the server in order to render your PHP page. Kind of looks a little bit like this. This web page is not available simply because you need a server. Now, you're wondering why localhost port 8888 is there, and that's what you do to reach the server, specifically MAMP. Now, if you downloaded MAMP, go ahead and open it up, and this is what the interface will look like. And you can see you have preferences and start servers. First you need to do is select preferences, go to web server, and then click the little folder here, and then go to your desktop or wherever you put your PHP folder and click on your PHP folder and then select it. That's going to be your document root because that's where we're going to have all of our PHP files. Click OK, hit Start Servers, and you'll see here Apache and MySQL, these little boxes turn green. That means the servers are running. We now officially have a virtual server running on our computer. Pretty neat. Now that means if you were to go back to your browser and type in localhost port, which is a colon, 8888, that's the address you use to navigate to local server files when you have MAMP open and running. We have our file here. Obviously no content yet, but you can see PHP syntax and it's up and running. If I were to view the page source, it's all there and ready to go. So now we can start coding in PHP. So like I said, PHP can be placed anywhere in the document, and PHP starts off like this. This is called a PHP script. You open and close like so. And I put them on different lines, but you can put them on the same line like so. PHP, so you got bracket, question mark, PHP, some space for your PHP code, question mark, and closing bracket there. And that's everything in between here is going to be PHP. Typically, you would have this on a couple different lines, but it doesn't really matter. Now, our very first PHP statement, echo, is a PHP keyword that's going to run a function that's going to echo text. And echo is simply just like JavaScript's print hello world, like so, semicolon, and you close it. So now if I save this and check it out in my browser, hello world. So we have our first PHP program right here in front of your face. Now another way of writing the echo, just for any of you out there who might know a little bit of PHP, is like so. Typically this is how you would write it, but you can also write it without the parentheses, like so. Okay, basic syntax right there. Next thing you might want to know is comments. So this is an HTML comment, obviously, and PHP comments are as follows. Single line comment. There's also another single line comment right here. And you can do multi-line comments. They look the same as CSS using the /**, and then you close the same with the */ multi-line comment here. Those are comments. Other thing you want to know is that PHP is not case sensitive, and that's important, meaning the keywords, the default PHP keywords and such, are not case sensitive. So if you were to code something like so, that would be the same as if you were to code this, like so. All of these work. If I were to save this and check it out, you could see they're all appearing right there. Lots of hello worlds. And so that's good to know. So the default keywords are not case sensitive, but variables, so your user created variables, are case sensitive. So here's a PHP variable. Name, I'm going to say Brad. And then echo, hello, and I'm going to concatenate. And again, we'll talk about this stuff in upcoming lectures. Break tag. And then I'm going to just copy this and paste it a couple more times, but then change the way that the variable is typed. Name and name. So this one's correct. These two are not. And you'll see here, hello Brad, and then hello, hello. Brad doesn't show up either time because there are no variables that are called name with a capital N or all caps name. So real quick recap. PHP is a script, can be placed anywhere. It's executed on the server, and plain HTML is the result that's sent back to the browser that you see. It's basically like HTML, but you can add your PHP within your HTML files. This is the basic syntax between the PHP script tags. PHP comments are pretty familiar. They're not case sensitive if you're using default keywords, but variables that you create are most definitely case sensitive. Make sure you have your virtual server up and running. That's a common problem that new PHP developers experience. They wonder why their PHP is not working, and it's because they don't have their virtual servers up and running and their root directory set up properly. Get that going. Make sure Apache and MySQL are running, and you should be good to go. So let's jump into the next lecture. We're going to get a little bit more heavy with some PHP.